Hi, Jacob Norris with ETSU Campus Recreation Outdoor Adventure. I'm here to talk to you today about some sleeping systems, how to find a good place to set up camp, what to look for when you're setting up camp, and some of the things that we carry for our sleeping systems. We're going to cover normal, three-piece tents today. So tents come in the body, the ground tarp, and the fly. The ground piece is going to be that extra layer of protection between the ground. Maybe there's some water running. It's also going to give you a footprint of what the ground looks like. And so I have my one-person tent right here that I'll go ahead and set up. I want to think about two things, the ground and what's above me. So the ground, I see, a really good spot kind of actually right where I'm standing. It doesn't look like water really pools up here. And it also doesn't look like there's really tall grass. If you run into really tall grass, you will find that you're gonna wake up with a lot of condensation. It's gonna be really wet just because the dew is gonna drop where all that grass is. I'm gonna choose right here where there's a little bit of grass, but I can see if it was gonna rain, the water would run away from me. So all tents are different. When you're setting up your tent, you need to know how to set it up. And your tent's gonna come with instructions. Also, YouTube is gonna be a great place. And I've got the footprint set up the way that I wanna sleep. Next up's the body. And with my tent, I have color coded where the poles are gonna go. Orange, gray. On the other side, orange, gray. And that lines up with the body as well, so I know how to lay it. There's also a narrow side and a wide side, so I need to find the narrow side and the wide side, which I do have. And then the third step is the fly. But before we put the fly on, I need to set up the poles. So in my tent bag, I have tent poles. Some of us like to call them helium sticks. Cool thing about this tent, it's got a gray side and an orange side as well, which also matches up. And the way I lay these are catty corner, across, diagonal. So I'm gonna set it up where the orange side is on this orange side, and the gray side is on this gray side. What you want to do is get one side in, grab the other side of the tent body, and then push the pole in a straight line. And that's going to bend the pole, keeping it in the hole on the other side. Because what happens with some people is they try to do it, but they're not holding it, and it flops out of place. And then the tent has these clips that clip onto the pole to give the body its form and to give you space to sleep. We were looking at the ground, but let's just take one more second to look up in the air. I know I'm under trees. I don't want to sleep any limbs that may break and hit me. I am under a lot of limbs, but they all look really tiny. There's also so many limbs that if one were to break off in the middle of the night, I don't think it's going to do me any damage. So I'm okay here. What you want to look for though are what we call widowmakers. Widowmakers are bigger branches that are dead or are alive but look weak. I'm comfortable under this. If you do have to set up under a lot of tree cover and you can't get out of it, try to find the most lively branches. And now my fly. With rain flies, you want to find where the logo is. The logo will be on the outside. If it's on the inside, the way it's see-through right there, it's inside out. So try to get it on the outside. I only have one door right here. That's where the zipper is. Some tents have doors on both sides, and so it doesn't matter the way you set up the fly as long as you get the doors lined up. This one only has one door, so I have to make sure that the door lines up as I'm setting it up. So the door's lined up. Next, I can attach the fly down to the body with these clips. Some flies you just put underneath the pole in another hole, kind of like that. This one has actual buckles. Let me get the other side. And now what we want to do is stake it down. So the tent is going to come with these stakes to anchor it into the ground. We do need a stake for the fly right here to give us what we call a front porch, but I don't want to do that just yet. See how that's angling over? So since I know I'm going to use the stakes, I want to start over here. So I'm going to start on one side and then caddy corner to the other side. I'm going to pull. So I've crossed, now I'm going to cross again. I'm going to get this back right side. I'm going to cross over to the front left. Now I can get the door, this front porch, without pulling the tent over. The way flies work is much like a rain jacket. The fly is meant to have the water hit it, bead up, and roll off. But if water hits it and stays in one spot, like it comes down here and isn't rolling anymore, it will soak through. This is a different tent. This is a Big Agnes. And go ahead and take a look inside. We can see there's really about only as much space for 2 people in a 3-person. So a good rule of thumb is 1 person's good for 1, a 2 person's good for 1, 3 persons good for 2, 4 persons good for 3. Cool, so I have 2 systems set up here. I have a foam mattress with a 50-degree quilt, and I have an air mattress with a 35-degree sleeping bag. Some people think about a sleeping bag and get this mummy style where the zipper only comes down so far and your feet are kept in here. Some people like quilts where it's kind of more like a blanket style. Quilts are a great summer option. These mummy bags are great for a little colder weather. Another thing to be considered about is sleeping bags are made for certain temperatures. Like this is a 35-degree sleeping bag. This is a 50-degree quilt. But nobody's to tell you that the 50 degree is good for you. Cool, if you have any more questions, send them our way, and thank you.